Wake up to reality. Nothing ever goes as planned in this accursed world. The longer you live, the more you will realize that the only things that truly exist in this reality are merely pain, suffering, and futility.
Hey, welcome back. We are enjoying a exciting episode of Vinland Saga. So, today we are on episode 7. If you're following along in the manga, we're on chapter 67. It is called The Secret Anguish Lies Within the Master of the Farm, Katil. It's Iron Fist Katil, right? So we learned a little bit of background about the master of the farm, right? So it opens up sort of at the end of chapter 66. Thorfinn and Anakin are washing up themselves and everything. They're getting everything ready. They're having a good day. They're finally seeing the fruits of their labor. So it's starting to sprout. So Anakin, being a Englishman, like I mentioned earlier, he's more than likely Christian. So, he gets on his knees and starts to pray to God for, a bountiful harvest, a good harvest to happen. At the same thing, Thorfinn is Norse, he's Icelandic, I think he's Icelandic. He's Norse, and so they don't really have too much of a religion. They were like a half pagan, half Christian type of situation going on later down in the years. But prior to that, it wasn't really like they were like, oh, we're so pagan that we give everything to what's her name? Oh man, I forgot Odin's wife's name, but they praise her a lot, Odin a lot, So, and then especially his dad being from Native American as well, so they believe in Earth Mother, Earth Father, Sky Father and stuff like that. So, it's a whole hodgepodge of their kind of religions and stuff like that. But we know Anakin is English, so more than likely he was a Christian. So that being said, they get on their knees, they start praying. They're like, hey, give us a good bountiful harvest and so forth. And, Thorfinn is like, this is my first time praying, but let me pray too, because whatever makes the grass grow, right? Yeah. So it was cool, It starts praying, and, that was all right, So that being said, after that, it shows them over here. They're washing up, and actually the lady that Eric is having a huge crush on, she is there as well. They're at the well. They're cleaning up, and she compliments him. And she's like, "Hey, you're doing a lot of good work out there. You're hard workers." And Eric is just like, over the moon for her, man. His face turns red. He does a classic anime, I'm in love type of stuff. So, it was good to watch it. And then we see Thorfinn with his big old goatee, showing his progression. He's aged. Kind of hoping this is like Thorfinn's cousin, because I really don't like this look on him. I will be 100% true. Honest. I like his younger look. More ragged, more buff, more all that, This one, he's like emaciated. He's kind of like thin, He's looking more like not Snake, but what's his name? What's the other Fox? He's looking more like Fox than anybody, Like if y'all remember Fox from episode 1 and 2, now he's looking more like him versus anybody, kind of weird. But lady of the house calls over his girl. And basically, she walks away. So then that's when we get into the story of Katil. We get into the story of Katil. So his son and Snake are coming back into the farm. Katil's there too. His son's leading the charge, which shows more of the dominance of his son, and Katil's in the back. So we're kind of like wondering, like, hey, what's going on? Why is that so? And comes out to be that, the Snake joins them, and they see that they have two thieves. It's a small little boy and a small little girl. And I guess this is where like the artistic storytelling portion comes in, that people are so grateful for and thankful for. I guess because now we want to turn this into like a more thoughtful manga versus prior, where it was just slack and hash, which I prefer. That's my cup of tea. So we show the boy and this little girl, the brother and sister. They're being captured by Snake, and then so they take them along to Snake asks the master, "Hey, we caught these guys. What do you want to do with them?" And the master's like, "Hey, look, let's go get something to eat first, because I don't want to do nothing on an empty stomach." And he goes, "Okay, sure, no problem." So they go back to the little house, to their house. They whip out the carpet. They start eating. They're enjoying, and then his son starts to regale the tale of fighting with Clute in the army, and his army in England. He's telling them that the reality of war is a lot more brutal, but it's also glorious at the same time. They'll ransack a village, start pillaging everything. First man, first come serves. So whoever gets there first takes the spoils. Everybody's just enthralled with this story. They're all listening. His brother is like, Osman is not Osman. Sorry, I need to get his name right. But his little brother, escaping me. Orman. His little brother Orman is basically like leaning in with every word of his older brother, right? Because he's like, this is the man. He's out there. He's fighting the army, man. He's fighting the wars. So they show a little flashback, man, of like how the war is going, and it's like cutting down what we want to see. What we want to see in Vinland Saga, right? And I got a little excited. I was like, heck yeah, man, this is gonna be ticket, right? We're gonna hear some bad stuff, man. Nah, man, it was just a really quick snippet, right? So they go back to them eating and everything, and he's telling them, so he leans in and he says, "How about it, Orman? Want to come along in the battle with me in England?" And Orman is like, "Oh, I don't know, man, because the way you're talking about it is like people die." It's like no one's living, everyone's dying. So Orman is like, "Oh, well," he starts sipping his cup like, "Oh, yeah, I'll go with you too." And so we can see the stark contrast between the two brothers, right? Osman is a big talker, and then his brother is, basically someone who is strong, hardy, is willing to fight, and has that lion heart, right? So that being said, Osman, he goes, "Hey, Osman, I got something for you." So he tosses him this necklace, and this goes way back. So this is actually a reference to Platoon. And so Platoon is a movie back in the 1970s that they made about the wars in Vietnam. And one of the characters there, one of the characters there basically fashions every kill he did, he would take the ears of the Viet Cong, and then he made a necklace out of it. So this is like actually something that's true in history, right? So he tosses him the necklace, and it was like one of those horror story things. And Osman is looking at it, and he's like, "Man, what is this? What is this, jerky? What is this, man? Leather? I don't know what this is." And he's like, "Oh, man, that's the ears of everyone I slaughtered, man." And he's like, "Oh, no." So he tosses it out, man, freaking him out. And, his brother starts laughing at him, man. He's like, "Man, you really are a wimp, man." He was like, "Don't even think about coming to war." And he's like, so that's when we first hear about their father, right? He says, and he goes, "And you are the son of the Iron Fist Skatil." He goes, "Get a grip, man." And he goes, "Iron Fist?" He didn't hear that right. And he's like, "Man, you don't know about Pops?" Like, he was like, "Man, Pops is so freaking crazy, man. In battle, he would, man, as soon as war started, that man would go blind rage. And then tossed out his sword because his sword couldn't hold his hand anymore because he would just shatter his sword everywhere. And he just like beat everybody up with his fists, man." And everybody was like, "Dang, man, really, man?" They were like, "Yeah, man." He goes, "I asked the old timers, the vets there, and I'll tell them who my father was." And they're like, "Oh, damn, you're Iron Fist Skatil's son, man." Like, hell yeah, this is it. So Thorgin. So this is something like I think I told you prior. Thor Thor is like a surname.
Yeah.
In that kind of sense, like back then in the 10th century, in the 11th century, Thor is like a surname. So his name is Gil Thor, right?
Yeah.
If we were to say it like in English today, right? So Thorgin, that's why there's like Thorfinn, there's like some
Thor cow, yeah.
Thor, right? Because it's like, yeah, it's like a power last name, right? Like you want that power in your name, right? So you'll put your surname like as Thor, right? So everybody loves that, right? So if you want your son to grow up like it's like any culture, you want your son to grow up nice and strong, so you're gonna name him something hardy and strong. So that being said, so he says Thorgin, and you're like, shut up, man, like that's in the past, that's now, don't listen to him, Ottoman, like just get a grip, right? Snake is like, all right, man, well, this is all cool and stuff, but we got 2 Steves still here. What do you want me to do? Because I don't want you to eat up all this food, until go to sleep, because we got to figure out what we're going to do with these thieves, man. And then that's when we start seeing some, fault in the armor, right? We see his face, like, just like this dreaded look on his face, like, man, like, what the heck, man? Why you got to bring this up again? And so he goes, let me start by asking, what's your names? The little boy gives him his name, and he said his name is Skull, and that this is his sister Thora. And he goes, okay, and he shows his nice face, so like a total stark contrast, right? Because we're just heard this sort of like he's a blind rage killer, right, with his bare fist, and then now we're seeing that like he's a more compassionate person, right? So he's speaking to him, he's like, hey, why'd you steal? And he asked the snake, like, hey, snake, did you coerce these confessions from them? Is this something like they really did steal? And snake is like, yeah, like we sort of like, we didn't trick him into saying it, but we like implied like you stole this, and if you don't tell us the truth, we're gonna kill everybody. He's like, he's like, wait a second, that's threatening him to confess, right?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah. The snake was like, yeah, but no, right? Like we know he stole because we saw him steal it.
Yeah.
But like we had to get a confession from him, right? So he's like, Catilla's like weighing his options, like, oh man, like what's your father's name, And the boy ends up telling him that the father left for another to sell the product. Sell their vegetables, but never came back, right? He's still on the road. And but everybody knows that his father more than likely died, right? Skull's father more than likely died. And so like he's like, man, hey man, your dad's dead. And he's like, no, he's just out there. Skull's like, no, he's just out there. He just hasn't made it back home. And they're like, okay, well, little kid, your dad died. So it's just the little kid, the sister, and the mom. And they're basically, the mom is not too well. She's sick, so she can't do the daily duties of a farm. And therefore, they're lacking. I get the story writing and I get the storytelling, right? I get the compassion side that they're building this, the kind of character building that they're doing here. And they're showing us like, hey, not everybody out there is evil and wants to kill and wants to be murderers. And that's why it's good. It's good. It's a good thing to know. It's a good thing to have, right? In your story, right? So they're like, hey, so what's the punishment, right? His servant, Patra, basically says, hey, this is what we're going to do, right? Because Catil still hasn't made up his mind. So he goes like, this is what we're going to do. We're going to tell you, you're going to work for the master. We're going to show you how to farm. We're going to show you how to take care of your daily duties. I'll spend a couple of months with y'all. And once y'all start building and making money again, you're going to pay back the master what you stole. And then you're going to start paying back your land. And then you're going to live happy. You're going to full bellies and everything. He goes, do you agree to this? And he goes, yeah. And then his son, Thorgil, goes, yeah, man, but we still got to punish you. And he was like, you can't be stealing. We still got to punish you. And then Snake is like, yeah, you're right. We got to punish you, So Snake pulls out, says like, hey, we can't let you go free. And we can't let you go without a punishment because then everyone's going to start stealing from us, right? So he pulls out a wooden stick. gets that wooden stick out and goes basically like, "Hey, I'm gonna beat you to death, near to death, and then you're gonna go ahead and continue with the master." Then the Patra and Katil were like, whoa, if you beat him to death, near to death, then how is it going to work? Like, that kind of stuff doesn't make sense. That being said, Thorgil goes, give me the pole. I'll whack him one time, and I guarantee you will never do it again. So without his father agreeing to it, saying yes, saying like, okay, Thorgil grabs the hammer. I think it was like an axe handle. It was an axe handle, right?
Yeah.
He grabs an axe handle and he just whacks the little boy one time in the arm, and basically crushing his arm, right? Knocking him like 6 feet into the air and everything. And so that being said, little boy is like tossed into the air. His father's like, wait, Thorgil, stop. He was like, I'll do it instead. And because Thorgil was gonna just basically beat him to death anyway, right? So it was like, so he kind of took charge, but we could see it in Katil's eyes. They pan in, you can see in his eyes the anguish, the cry. He's holding the stick and everything, like. He really doesn't want to do these kind of things, right? So after, I guess he gave him some light-hearted taps, right? Versus like some, 10 strokes, 10 beats, right? Like really hardcore stuff, right? They zoom back out. It's nighttime now. We don't know where Skull is or his sister, probably mending his wounds and everything. So they're all in the little, house hut, drinking, having fun. Thorgil asks, hey, where's father? Osman's like, he went to bed already, man. And he goes, oh, well, guess even the Iron Fist Katil can't beat old age, right? Because, his dad, to them, like, their dad is like, like a legend, right? A legend. So we get this contrast. Skull's sister, Thorka, is mending to his wounds, and then we see hold on, let me just double check my facts real quick. Give me 2 seconds. I don't want to give this away if this haven't happened yet. Okay, yes it has. All right. So that being said, Katil's in his chambers with basically Eden's girl, the one he loves. He's like, I'm gonna read you a little bit from the manga. It says, Nordic men are expected to be brave. Everyone just naturally assumes the same for me. And he kind of laughs at it, says, but nobody would expect someone as respectable as me to tell a lie like that. And he goes, I'm scared of my own son, Thorgin, scared of war. Violence is supposed to be terrible, she says to him, to Katil, his slave girl. And he says, it's not a crime to be nice. I know your pain. And he goes, Adonis, that's her. You're the only one who can say that to me. Because he's not that kind of guy, right? He's not that, heartful, vengeful guy. He's a caring guy. And that's okay, right? Like, it's okay for men from hardcore societies to have a heart, to be caring. We're not always have to be 100%, gun-ho all the time, right? And that's the kind of that's the storytelling that people are good with Vinland Saga, right? Now, that being said, Nick, you have your opinions. That was a recap of the episode. It was a good one. Nick, what was your thoughts on this week's episode?
I mean, you did a better recap than I would have done. I mean, for me, I laughed when they were praying, like they're wanting to not be slaves anymore. I get it. Like they were like, pray to anybody. I don't care, dude. Like, just start praying, bro. Like, I need these crops to grow. You got a bit of new characters, so that's kind of cool. I've accepted that I'm not getting fighting in this. I mean, we got a little bit of a. It seems like when they recap, they always recap to when Thorfinn's dad was like a full Viking like him, Thorcow, like all of those guys, like old school. So it kind of gave me that a bit of like a second. But I mean, it seems like we're just getting like full storytelling type of anime, and I've accepted it a bit, so I'm kind of already content with it. I don't know. I give it a 2. Anime is always, you've said it, anime is always good. I never complain about it, the art and everything. And then I'll give it 2.5. It gave me some story. It gave me some story. I can move on from it. Anything beats the horse episode I got of that. I mean, it gave me some laughter. It gave me some, okay, like it kind of got me thinking of a new character. Like this guy is somebody I need to look at. Snake, you kind of get a different feel for him. Like he's kind of heartless also. So I want to see where it goes. Now you're keeping me, you move me from the horse thing. That's fine. But I'll be, that's where I'm going to end it at, I guess.
All right, man. Okay, that's good. That's good. I would have to say that my rating for this one was about a 3.
Yeah.
I sent you a text message as soon as I was done, like, meh.
Yeah.
Meh. It was like, did we learn something new? Yeah. Did we learn that Catil isn't a hardcore god? Well, yeah, in episode 1 and 2, when he first introduced himself and said, hey, I'm going to give you a plot of land. Hey, you're going to grow your own crops, then you're going to pay me back, and then you'll be free man. Like, yeah, we know he's not a bloodthirsty warrior, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it kind of like already implied he was a good guy, right? So, could we mash 1 and 2 together? Yeah. And made it 1 episode. Can we mash 2 and 3 together? Yeah. Made 1 episode? Absolutely. Can we mash 4, 5, and 6 together? Absolutely. And got Clute's story in a flashback and all that, and got the father and the son's conversation, Catil's and his dad conversation together in a flashback. Like, yeah, like that's 3 episodes. 3 episodes, bro, right? And then we could have 4 episodes of action-packed fighting and all that other jazz, right? So that's my whole storyline on that, right? But that being said, like, is it like was it a good episode? I think it was a marginal episode. It was like the flashback of Catil fighting, man, perfect. That's the kind of animation I love from Vinland Saga. That dark, gritty, like almost like One Punch Man. When he was fighting, Genos was fighting, not Genos. One Punch Man was fighting the Galactic Warlord, and it was like just that gritty, pin artmanship. That's just like, man, that's some anime drawing right there. No CGI reliance. You're just arting that all by hand. That's the kind of action I like. That's the kind of art style I like, man. If you are a fan of that, go to the manga. Read the manga. It's a lot of that the old school hand penmanship. It's black and white. It's all penmanship, hand writing. That's the kind of stuff that's like really awesome, man. Like you really have to take appreciation for that. I'm trying to draw every breath of life out of Vinland Saga, my friend. I am trying to draw every breath of life so that I can hold you on to watch this goddamn awful season 2. Like, I want y'all to stick around, man, because I know some stuff down the road is going to be popping, and I'm like trying to hold y'all there, but I understand if you want to leave. I get it. I want to leave. If we didn't make a dedication to this already, I would have left, But we got to stick it in. We got to ride it out. We got to see. So with that being said, I give it a 3. Artwork, always 1 star. 2, plot development, story growth, building. That's great. 3, did it move the story forward? Just a little, just a tiny bit. Like we get Eren is like a religious person throwing Thorfinn to more have a conscience, because we know he didn't grow up with one, because he grew up straight up Viking mode all the time, you know. And if I remember what I told y'all, Viking is more like a profession versus like you know, a title. It's a profession. So all he did was kill, plunder, and kill, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, great. You know, are we getting a little you know, we learned about Katil and his son Thorgin and Osman, their relationship, you know, which is really growing in the thing. Like, now we know Snake is a cruel, heartless guy versus like some type of compassionate dude, you know, like, you know, he really just truly cares about his own stuff, you know, like him and himself only. With that being said, man, next episode is called Empty Man, and it's more into Thorfinn and farming.
Yay.
But next time we do this, I will have my background as Farm Simulator 101. So so that being said, like we're at that point, man. Like, dude, this is a farming simulator, man. Like, you know, like I don't know what else to tell you. But for the previews, I think a little bit of farming, and then they were doing a little bit of cast fishing. So yeah,
Learn something, I guess.
We're gonna learn something new, you know. We're gonna learn some stories. So that being said, things will start hit. Like I told you, remember, it's like things will start getting heated. Things will start getting good. A little more chapters in. Like when we get into chapter 70s and the 80s, things start getting really good. So stick in there with us, guys. We appreciate y'all. Like always, Madara's Corner on Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, not Twitch, listen to me.
TikTok,
Twitter. I'm just trying to think of T's, bro. T's, man. Everybody want to be a T nowadays. You know? So follow us on there. Definitely working on some shorts. I don't really have too many recommendations other than I was telling like Nick earlier, Jujutsu Kaisen, one of my personal favorite animes. I jumped on that bullet train the day the manga came out, and you know, because it was suggested to me by another friend. And that being said, watching it from the manga to the anime, you know, been a whole bunch of fun with that. The dub for the second season of not second season, my apologies, second half of first season anime came out, which is awesome. I love the dub. I know Nick said he was a fan of more of the sub. You know, that's where we're gonna get into some fights, man, because I'm a dub guy. I work and I can't sit there and read, you know, subtitles all day long, man. I gotta hear it, you know. And my Japanese is so preschoolish, you know. It's like, you know, I can't catch everything everybody says, you know. So I want to so definitely most of my isekais are ramping up. So if you haven't checked out our list on there, the isekai list that I set up a few weeks ago, please go check it out. All those are ramping up, man. They're getting really good. I'm about to make a second list. Also, too, I want to throw in a couple of manga. I'm finishing up one of the mangas, Mr. Sakamoto. It is, like I told you, I recommended it. It's like a John Wick. What if John Wick got a family and successfully made his family, is now a grocery store clerk? Is basically what it is, you know. And it is funny. It is, man. It is. It has a funny moment, but it also has like the manga. It's like dark and gritty and, you know, cutthroat, man. Like it's like it's freaking insane how they meld these two things together. Like it has its funny moments, and then it's like it shows a guy getting his head chopped off, and it's like he's holding it for fun, you know. So it's like what? So like it's crazy. So that being said, you know, go check us out on the social medias. We appreciate y'all. Please give us some suggestions. I know we've been lacking on this Blue Locker. It's been such a ride. It's so good. This last episode, 17, was just like, It was real good. It was real good. It jumped the gun on a lot of things, pushed the story forward for us. It was you know, a lot of action, it was good, great conversation, but it also ended on a really great note. So you know, definitely worth the watch. Blue Lock is what it is, Blue Lock, and it's a soccer anime. And then there is a couple of others. So next week I'll have a list, because as we're getting closing out February, March is coming up, and a little bit of anime are coming out in March, but then most of them are the springtime. So April would be like the vast majority of the anime, because it's of course springtime anime releases. So Master of Ceremonies, Nick, you got anything you want to throw in there?
I think you got it all. I'm done after watching Vinland and recording. I'm done with today.
All right, man. Okay, well, we appreciate y'all. Y'all be safe. Y'all have a good one, and Madara Corners out.